So I'm gonna rank every major brokerage firm from best to worst based on the experiences I've had with Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity, and JP Morgan Chase. I'm gonna rank them based on their customer service, data research, and the ease of use to their apps and web browsing. And I will also add chapters to this video, so feel free to skip ahead if you need to. Just let me know in the comment section down below if you've had any negative experiences with Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity, or Chase. But this video is gonna be very beneficial for people looking to open their first Roth IRA, SEP IRA, solo 401k, 529 college savings plan, or taxable brokerage account. But anyway, if you take a look at my phone, and I have my investment apps with Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity, and Chase. And I'm not gonna talk about the employer-sponsored 401k investment because you actually don't have a choice but to use the brokerage firm that your employer has a contract with. Your employer-sponsored 401k is not something that you can choose and say that you want Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. But you'll need to choose your own broker to open a Roth IRA, 529, UTMA, taxable investment account, or solo 401k if you're self-employed. But anyway, there are other large brokerage firms like TD Ameritrade and E-Trade, but since I don't personally have E-Trade, I'm not gonna speak to something I don't personally know. And I used to have TD Ameritrade for my self-directed brokerage account within my 401k, but since I left my last job over a year and a half ago, I no longer have TD Ameritrade, so I can't speak to that as well. What you also probably didn't know is that Schwab actually acquired TD Ameritrade, so now TD Ameritrade falls under Charles Schwab. And let me quickly tell you what accounts I have with these brokerage firms. And I have my traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and one of my taxable brokerage accounts with JP Morgan Chase. My wife's traditional and Roth IRAs are with Fidelity, and I have my daughter's 529 and UTMA with Vanguard. And we also have the other taxable brokerage account for our early retirement with Schwab. The investments that I pay dividends are in my Schwab account, and the investments that don't pay dividends but with large growth potential are with JP Morgan Chase. It used to be with Vanguard, but I will tell you why I made the transfer from Vanguard to Chase later on in this video. The first brokerage firm I want to rank is Charles Schwab. And as far as how to navigate around the website when you're logged in, Charles Schwab is by far has the best website and app. And as soon as I log into the app here, I can see the overview of my accounts between checking and brokerage accounts. And you can even rename your accounts so that you can easily identify the purpose of each account. And this is my dividend investment account. When I click my account, it immediately tells me the stocks that I hold with today's stock price and the number of shares I have in this account. And what's important to me is knowing how much the stock is down by day and by total. And let me click on target stock here. It tells me how the stock is doing today and how it's been doing for a year. And what's really nice about this is that it's so easy to navigate between 1 day, 5 days, 1 month, and the 1 year performance. And it even gives you the expected earnings date, EPS, price to earnings, and the PE ratio on the overview page. This is all the information that I need to glance at to make sure that my dividend payments are coming into my account and keep track of the earnings dates. And on the website, let me pull up here, I can make automatic transfers weekly, every other week, monthly, and almost every option you can imagine. And this is important for most people because people invest based on how frequently they get paid. And the majority of Americans get paid bi-weekly or every 2 weeks. And most people want to invest automatically. So that's one less thing they have to worry about, right? What I do with Schwab is I make an automatic transfer every 2 weeks from my checking account to Schwab's checking account. And then I make the transfer from Schwab's checking account to my dividend investment account. And you can directly contribute to the index funds if you want to, but you can only do that with the mutual funds. You can't automatically invest in an ETF, individual stock, or bonds. And that's not just with Schwab, but with every brokerage firm. And they have to be mutual funds. You can also automatically transfer into the money market fund inside the investment account. And every investment account comes with a money market account. So you don't have to invest your money right away. And I personally believe this is the best brokerage firm for beginners. And I'm still gonna go over Fidelity, Chase, and Vanguard because they have their own unique perks as well. And I really love Schwab's research website because it's so simple to use. So if I pull up the Schwab S&P 500 Index Fund, ticker symbol SWPPX, it tells me the price, the expense ratio, year-to-date return, and the dividend yield. And if I'm brand new to investing and opening an IRA, a custodial account, or a taxable brokerage account, Schwab tells me the performances of these funds or securities, but they're very easy to read. That's the biggest difference Schwab makes when I compare it with the other brokerage firms. And I know some of these research data can be extremely difficult to understand, so I encourage you to join my private Facebook group or become a member of my channel because I have a public live stream and private group session every other Wednesday to talk about all kinds of financial independence investment and early retirement strategies. You can visit firesightchat.com/pricing or firesightchat.com/coaching to schedule your financial coaching session. The second brokerage account I want to rank is Fidelity. And I like the Fidelity app, which shows me how my portfolio has performed in the past month, past year, and since the beginning of the year. Here's what I really like about the Fidelity app and the website. It clearly states which account I'm selecting is the Roth IRA and which one I'm selecting is the traditional IRA. This is extremely important, especially for people who do the backdoor Roth IRA, so you don't contribute to the wrong account, right? And some apps don't do that, and that makes things a little bit difficult for beginners who just start investing. And the overall experience with Fidelity isn't as colorful or organized as the Schwab app. Again, this is just my personal opinion. And what Fidelity shows me is the Roth IRA contribution limits when I click on either account. And I love this because people need to know that they actually have until the tax deadline on April 18th to contribute to the 2022 Roth IRA. After the tax deadline, you can't contribute to the 2022 portion of the Roth IRA. What I also like about Fidelity is that it shows me the asset allocation for each account. And I know most apps do this, but I like how easy it is for me to view the asset allocation without clicking many buttons. This Roth IRA has 99% domestic stocks and 1% foreign stock. And as we become risk averse in our 50s, we might see more bonds or short-term cash allocation. But as of right now, we're all investing 100% into US stocks. And my wife invests in Fidelity Zero Total Market Index Fund. So let me click on this and take a look. It has the typical performance charts from 1, 3, 5, and 10 years. And it tells me how many shares she owns, and more importantly, what the cost basis is. What this app doesn't show right now or right away is the total gain or loss for every investment. As someone who has been investing for a while, Fidelity is an easy app to understand and use to navigate my investments. But for beginners, it might take you a little while to understand what it's showing because it lacks visual aids like charts or something like that, like Schwab. And let me know in the comment section down below what your experiences are so far with Fidelity. But here's the big downside of Fidelity. And I don't know why, but Fidelity only allows you to make monthly or quarterly scheduled contributions directly to the IRA. And they don't have weekly, bi-weekly, or give you the ability to customize your contribution schedule. And I find this extremely inconvenient because we prefer to contribute bi-weekly because we get our paychecks bi-weekly, right? I just want to have that flexibility. And the same rules apply when I try to make an investment schedule on the website. Again, you can only make schedule investments on mutual funds, and my wife has the FZROX, which is the US Total Stock Market Index Fund. Fidelity only allows us to make monthly or quarterly schedule investments. And when I click on create a custom schedule, it just asks me what months I wanted to make the automatic investments. This has been frustrating because we wanted to buy into this index fund weekly or bi-weekly, and that would have allowed us to truly dollar cost average into this investment bi-weekly. And one more thing we're frustrated about is the extreme delay in doing the backdoor Roth IRA. And if you're above the income limit to the Roth IRA, you have to do what's called a backdoor Roth IRA. And you can watch this video linked in the description below. The problem is that when we make a transfer from our joint checking account to my wife's traditional IRA, it takes almost a week for the fund to settle. When I compare that with Schwab, Vanguard, JP Morgan Chase, it only took those brokers less than 2 business days for the money to settle in the money market account. So about a week after the funds settle in her traditional IRA, then my wife is able to make a transfer from her traditional IRA to her Roth IRA to do the backdoor conversions. So the bottom line is that the backdoor Roth IRA process is extremely painful with Fidelity, and the automatic investment schedule is not as flexible as Schwab, Chase, or Vanguard. And don't forget to download my financial independence resources, including all the 401k and IRA spreadsheets, for absolutely free by visiting firesidechat.com/resources. You should also check out my Fireside Chat shop to check out the books and equipment I use for my YouTube studio at firesidechat.com/shopping. The third brokerage account I want to rank is JP Morgan Chase. And you may be thinking they're just a bank, but they primarily focus on investments. And I personally have my traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and taxable brokerage account with JP Morgan Chase. If you already have a checking account with Chase, it'll be extremely easy to get set up your Roth IRA, taxable brokerage account, 529, or other retirement or custodial accounts, because you'll just log in with the same accounts as your checking account. What I don't recommend is getting a savings account with Chase, because they only pay 0.02% in interest, and you can get over 3.75 or 4% with banks like Ally Bank or other high yield savings accounts. You can check out this video for more information, which is linked in the description below. And once you have a balance of $150,000, Chase will let you join the private client program, where they have a direct customer service line that you can talk to in person without any delays. They even give you a discount on the mortgage rate if you finance with Chase. But anyway, let's check out the Chase app, because I have like 10 separate accounts with Chase, and I really like how the app categorizes my checking accounts, credit cards, and investment accounts. The downside of the app or the website is that it doesn't say if it's a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA like Schwab does. It was the same thing with Fidelity, that it doesn't, Fidelity did, but it just doesn't clearly say what each account is, because it just says self-directed brokerage with the last 4 of my account numbers. So you need to be very careful which account you select to make the contributions, because you don't want to over contribute to the IRAs, or you're going to be penalized by the IRS. And when I click on my taxable brokerage account here, and I have to scroll down to see the investments I have and how they're performing. And the overview page isn't as detailed as Schwab or Fidelity, because it just tells me how the stocks or index funds are performing during the trading day. And I don't think Chase is really set up for beginners. Now, you will need some time to understand how everything works in your investment account. And when I click on Meta, which is one of the stocks that I own, and it takes me directly to the quote, which is basically showing me the historical chart of Meta. And I like their investment chart better than Schwab and Fidelity, because I can categorize them by days and months, and as well as expand the chart to full screen. This is a great investment app for intermediate or seasoned investors who can read analyst ratings, statistics, and earnings estimates. And the Chase website is a little hard to navigate. It took me, for a seasoned investor, a while to find the automatic investment setup on the website. But anyway, because I do the backdoor Roth IRA, I make an automatic transfer every 2 weeks in the amount of $250, because 250 multiplied by 26 is 6,500, which is the maximum IRA contribution limit for 2023. It gives me the option to contribute every 2 weeks, twice per month, every month, quarterly, and several other options. So as far as how flexible the automatic investment schedule is with Chase, it is as flexible as Schwab. Now, let me take a look at the research page here. Let me search for Meta. Okay, the research isn't as user-friendly as Schwab or Fidelity. It just gives me the latest published articles or journals regarding Meta. It doesn't really help me understand the stock, ETF, or mutual fund that I'm trying to research. If I click on the US Overview tab, let me click on the Apple stock. It's basically the same stock information you saw earlier on the app. So the JP Morgan Chase research is not as good as Schwab or Fidelity, in my honest opinion. And the fourth brokerage account I want to pull up and I want to rank is Vanguard. So let me pull up the Vanguard app here. And Vanguard app used to be the worst investment app I ever saw. And they did make some significant improvements over the year, but it's frustrated me with their app because they actually disabled the buy sell buttons on the Vanguard app for several months due to maintenance, whatever that means. And for someone like me who's constantly buying stocks and index funds, I needed to be able to trade when I don't have access to my laptop. But at the time I'm recording this video, Vanguard now allows you to trade stocks on their app. But anyway, I only have 2 accounts with the Vanguard, and I have my daughter's 529 college savings plan and her UTMA account. And I used to have traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and a taxable brokerage account with Vanguard, but I decided to move them all to JP Morgan Chase because I wanted to have a better customer service experience. And back in January 2022, I had a really bad experience with Vanguard customer service. I wanted to move money out of my 401k after I quit my job to my IRA, but it took me so many phone calls, phone transfers, and waiting for over 3 to 4 hours to get a hold of someone. And keep in mind that this was back in January 2022, so maybe they improved their customer service, but I just couldn't deal with the Vanguard customer service anymore for something as simple as a 401k to IRA rollover. But I decided to keep my daughter's accounts with Vanguard because first, I really like their low-cost mutual funds, and I don't need to contact customer service as much for the custodial accounts. And I also wanted to keep them with Vanguard to educate my clients about the experience I've had with the broker. But back in the Vanguard app, it is so much smoother than it used to be. Right off the bat, it tells me the overall performance of my portfolio from year to date, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and lifetime. And keep in mind that I've had Vanguard since 2016, which was the first year I really started investing for my financial independence. And I still believe that Vanguard has the best track record for index funds. And my brokerage account with Chase has the Vanguard index funds because of the low cost expenses. But that's going to be a video for another day. So let me click on my daughter's 529 college savings plan. And I have 2 mutual funds. And one of them is the S&P 500 index, and the other one is the growth index fund. And when I clicked on each mutual fund here, it just tells me how many shares I have and what the current market value is. It doesn't go as deep into details like Schwab, Fidelity, and Chase did. So the 529 account has limited options. So let me go into her UTMA account. And I'm going to click on her UTMA account here because I have a Vanguard high dividend yield ETF and Roblox. And it definitely shows more details of my investments than the 529 college savings plan. And when I click on Roblox, it just tells me the stock price and how many shares I currently own. It doesn't really have the breakdown of analysis like Schwab did, right? And now let me go into the research portion of the app and type VT-SAX. The Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund immediately tells me the asset class and expense ratio right off the bat. The management fees are $0, but the minimum investment amount is $3,000. That's probably the major downside with Vanguard is that you'll need at least $3,000 for VT-SAX or VFIAX, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 Index Fund. Back in 2016, I didn't have $3,000 to invest, so I started with VTI and VOO ETFs, and then eventually moved them to VT-SAX and VFIAX when I eventually had at least $3,000 to invest in each fund. But I've always enjoyed using the Vanguard research website because they're super easy for people to understand. And when I started my investing journey, I would stay up all night reading and understanding how these index funds worked. And boy, did they pay off in the long term. And let me switch to the website here. Kind of like the JP Morgan Chase website. It's not as easy to navigate the website unless you've been using it for a while. And if you want to schedule an automatic transaction, you'll need to click on more account information. And that's been the same since 2016. The Vanguard website has always been old school and it hasn't really made any improvement. And that's my honest opinion based on my experience. And what was really awesome about Vanguard was how easy it was to do the backdoor Roth IRA. And I can't show you how to do it right now because I moved them to JP Morgan Chase. I just basically did an automatic transfer from my checking account to my traditional IRA, and then I just clicked on convert to Roth IRA. And I didn't have to wait weeks like my wife does with Fidelity. And as soon as the fund was available, I was able to make the backdoor conversion immediately with Vanguard. So that was a major perk of using Vanguard for my Roth IRA. And Vanguard is the king of index funds and ETFs. It's actually easier to do the research on the website than to do it on the app. If you want to do research on the Vanguard index funds, it gives you an overview of the asset class, risks, and expense ratios. It even tells you how each fund has performed in the last year, 5 years, 10 years, and since inception, which is really helpful with my research. You can even compare every index fund and ETF. And this is especially helpful if you have just started investing because you want to compare the minimum investment amount, risk potential, and price per share. And I can even add ETFs by adding the ticker symbol right here. So I can put VYM here, and let me add VHT for the fifth one. And I want to see how much it costs to buy a share of an ETF because Vanguard doesn't allow you to do fractional share purchases. And it costs almost $250 to buy a share of VHT. So I might need to wait 2 pay periods to buy that one share of VHT, right? Or something like that. So if I had to rank the investment app, I would say Schwab by far has the best investment app. And I will rank Fidelity second, Vanguard third, and Chase fourth. And I would like to see more improvements made to the Chase app for those who just start investing. And if you've been investing for a while, it should be pretty easy for you to navigate. And for automatic investment schedules, I would rank Vanguard the best because it allows you to do the backdoor Roth IRA almost immediately after you make the contribution to the traditional IRA. And I would rank Schwab second, and then I would rank Chase third. And although it's still somewhat difficult to navigate the Vanguard website, I would still rank it best for the results. And Fidelity is the worst with automatic scheduling because it doesn't allow you to do the automatic investments weekly or bi-weekly, which is pretty dumb in my opinion. And I would also rank Chase as the worst in backdoor Roth IRA because they want me to sign the Roth IRA conversion paperwork every time I make a conversion. That's just waste of time and painful for anyone. And for research, I would rank Schwab the best because it's easy to navigate and it's easy to understand. And I would rank Vanguard second, but it has a very strong research website for index funds and ETFs. Index funds are their bread and butter for sure. And Fidelity comes in third and Chase comes in last. Chase needs to make improvements to its search engine or something like that. And for customer service, I would rank JP Morgan Chase as the absolute best. However, this applies more to Chase's private clients with at least $150,000. I like the fact that someone will answer the phone right away if I have to call someone about my investments. It's important to me to have an actual human to talk to about my retirement, right? And I'm sure you feel the same way. And I would rank Fidelity and Schwab tied for second place. But Vanguard is at the dirt bottom based on my experience. To me, waiting 3 to 4 hours for someone to answer the phone just to deal with my 401k rollover is absolutely absurd. And Vanguard needs to make a significant improvement in that department. And if you want to know more about how to start investing in a Roth IRA or a 401k, be sure to check out these 2 videos. So with that said, I appreciate you watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.